Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and this video is part of me being a guest designer for Crealies in August 2018. I'll be making this big card with a so-called mug to go theme. I'll be also making this background piece of paper, a pattern paper, if you so will. At first, let me just show you what kinds of dies I've been using this time. These are the dies that go within the mug to go set, and as you can see it's going to be rather big, so it's a nice way to actually make your own card. You could make this into a card, or perhaps a pocket or something else. You could have lots of fun with this. I'm also thinking you could make this into a pocket and protect your scissors in. I've seen some really nice inspiration on the net. And then I have made my own stencil using this die cutting it several times in order to get all of these holes, these circle holes here, with the only circles die, and it's a decorettes die. And I'll be using some bits and pieces stamps as well. Number 4 is ink splashes, 7 is thin mesh, 11 is sparkle, 30 is honeycomb, 42, 93 is open bricks small, 63 is grunge circles in circles, 120 is coffee stain large, 123 is coffee stains medium, CLTZ E02 warm drinks. And here you have those dies that I have used. So you don't really need that much in order to create something like this. So let's see what I'll get started. First off, I'm going to take these away and I'm just going to cook something up here with you today. I'll be using a paper that is going to be, I think it's 14 by 27, so you can see it's rather big. You could also use this for, let's say, art journaling or something like that. And you can also make these into cards, of course, if you want to. But in this case, I'll be using a bit bigger paper because the die itself is so big and I want to make use of that one. So, in order to get started, I have the stamps mounted on these acrylic blocks of sorts. And what I like to do is start off with the solid images. And with solid images, I mean that they have a lot of ink sticking to them. And I'll be starting off with these. I could go for more if I wanted to, but in this case I'll be stamping some of these 3 times on this paper in order to get that sort of cohesiveness going there. And I'll be starting off in one corner and I'll be inking it up once more, and I'll be putting it in the center and a 3rd time. I'll be placing it almost at the top, but I won't be putting it in the corner. So in this case I'm creating sort of a visual triangle, and then I like to just clean off my ink, my stamps quickly like this on a piece of magazine, old magazine like that. And now I can continue using these so-called solid stamps, or really sort of inky stamps. And I'm going to be placing that one there. And I'm placing it down in the corner. And I'll be placing it 3rd time in the other corner, or perhaps I could put it there. And I'll be just inking it off like that, getting rid of it. And then I'll be moving on with the honeycomb, one of my favorite stamps, I must say. I really like the unevenness of this one. So I'll be placing it like so, making sure that I have some fun things poking around there. And I'll be putting it down here as well. And now it seems like there's quite a lot happening now, isn't there? Let's see. I do have this flower, and perhaps I could even use those small circles there, or ink splashes. The flower could go there. And as you can see, I'm actually intentionally stamping outside the paper because then I'm getting this sort of cut piece of paper look. And let's see if I could continue with a couple of... These lids really stick well in this case. And it's the VersaFine Clear inks that I'm using this time. So, verdant, as I told you. And I think I'll just put that one perhaps up in the corner there. So, let's just ink that one off. So I don't accidentally put my hand in that. So now that I have done the stamping with the green ink pad, it's time to move on to something black. And in this case I'll be using the VersaFine Onyx Black. This one has a lid that you actually are folding backwards, and you are going to hold it in your hands like that. And now I'll be starting with some stamping with black on top of this color. And as you can see, it's going to push the other color backward because black is always the strongest color, and it's going to be in the front. So let's see, I'm going to put this one over here. I think there could be nice. Like so, and then I'm going to go for the sparkle, and I think that is my absolute favorite when it comes to stamps from Crealies. I like the unevenness of this one. I'm going to rock it and put it there. And I'm going to rock it. I'm actually going to turn the paper over. Sometimes it's easier. Rock it and put it there, because this is a rocker. It's an old block I could go for at times like this. And I'm thinking I do like it going upwards like that, so I'll be rocking it there and cleaning it somewhat. Then I have some brick wall there, open bricks. And I do like to go for the jagged edge, so I'm going to put it there. So if you don't have that many texture stamps, you might come a bit in on a project anyway, because you can use the stamp a couple of times on the same project. In that case it won't be too busy, if you know what I mean. Sometimes you like things to be busy, but in this case I do want to make a statement with this, but I also want to have some fun. So let's see, now I actually did use, let's see, where is it? Where is the old paper? For goodness sake, sorry, there. Now I can see them. I actually did stamp that ink splatter with black, but I'm thinking, since I do have, well, I actually could go with the black because I've got quite a bit of green there, so I needn't put in anything more. I could put in a little bit there, and I could put in perhaps a little bit there, just put it in a little, and I could also put in a little up there. But now I can see that there's a little bit of a gap there. So I might actually go for, I have the flower there, but perhaps I could go for this yet again. Just use a little bit of it in the corner, like so. And now it's time to do a bit of sooting around the edges. So I'm going to use an old kitchen sponge like this, Scotch-Brite you might call it. And I'm just going to give a subtle and soft but a sooted edge just by using this sponge like this. And sometimes when your ink pads have run out, or almost run out, those are the perfect ones, because then you're not getting too much ink. You just have to know your ink pad and how much it's going to release. So I'm just going to go around the page like this. And I'm going to close it because when it comes to VersaFine, I usually end up having the ink all over my hands and everything. So it's a good thing to know where your ink pads are. So now it's time to move on for the stenciling bit. And I think I'll just try to make these go like so. I'm going to use some VersaFine Clear Morning Mist. And I'll be using a blending brush from Tim Holtz. These are sold in sets of 2, and these are really handy because you can just store them in these metal containers. It's sort of like a lipstick, and they are really nice to work with. So it's finally time to go ahead with the stencil that I made, and I'm making sure that I don't have the circles perfectly complete on the paper. I want them to be a little bit outside of the paper, or just letting them go in a bit. So let's see if I can hold my tongue or just keep my tongue in the right place when I'm doing this. So I'll be taking one step and I'll be just dabbing it off a little bit because I don't want any harsh marks. So I'm just going to pick up some color, but I'm going to dab it off as well. And I'm trying to hold the stencil in place best I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I do like the organic look, if you so. In some places it's going to be a little bit more visible, and in some places it's going to be a little bit more softer. And I'm just going to keep it in place, and I'm going to lift it up, and as you can see, I have a nice grey dotted background. And it's nice to have some ink there, because if I'm going to compare, you see this is the strongest one yet. This was the first one, I barely got it there. And if you want a really soft look, it's absolutely possible to do so. You might just have to dab off more. And in this case, I've gone a little bit more stronger in this case. And it might be a good thing because I want to be able to showcase this properly. So it's nice to have a background to break it off from. So I'm going to put that one to the left. Let's hope I remember where it is after a while. So now I have these pieces. And what I made with this was I used the green ink yet again. I'll be placing them aside. And I'm just going to take a green brush in this case. And I'm just going to take a little bit and I'm going to work in the ink like this. And in this case, I really do want it to be green, so I'm actually pushing in quite a lot of ink. And in this case, I mean, sometimes you want to have a matching color. And of course, I could have gone for a die cut this one out of a funky green paper perhaps, but I sort of like using these stencil brushes or these blending brushes. So this is the way I like to go about things. So there we have it, and I don't actually have to color it all the way in because I'll be placing something on top, and what that is going to be looking something similar to this. So I'll be taking that ink splotch stamp, and I think that I actually stamped it with the Morning Mist, and it doesn't have to be perfect, you see, so I'm just going to add on some ink. This is also going to help it break from the background. I'm just going to put in some ink there, and there, there, and the lid will go back. I'm going to put it there. So now I've come this far. So I could put it there, or I could put it there. But in this case I actually have this one prepared with some foam adhesive and everything. Then I'm going to move ahead to the other one. And I'll be making sure that I'm going to use the right brush. So I'll be going for some grey here, because I don't want it to take over and go completely black, because I'm going to do some stamping on top of this. So I'll be just brushing in some grey ink. And you could go for any kind of a little bit harder bristle brush in order to use this method. I do like playing around like this. So now I have this one, and the one last stamp to be used is here. And I have mounted it on a grid block, which actually have those really nice waved edges. I do like, it feels secure when I'm going to do my stamping, because I know that it's going to stay in my hands, it's not going to fall. Sometimes it does, of course, but mostly not. And if I'm lucky, I might be able to use that line there up against that line and sort of center it that way. And I'm sorry if my head is peeking into the camera there. And there we have it. So now it's all about making these come to life. So what I could do, of course, is what I did here. I actually put on 2 layers of these because I have die cut. I haven't die cut actually. I have flattened a paper straw in the Big Shot machine in order to be able to put on the card like this. Now I can see now that it has got stuck to that one, and I didn't want that. But I actually could benefit from the glue, and hopefully it will stay there when it's going to be sticking there. So since this is the first bit I'm going to be putting there, I might as well just give it a go. Sometimes I do like to make the decoration completely complete before I add it onto the paper. And perhaps I'll have to regret this, starting with it now, but I'm not sure if I'll do that. Let's see where I'll end up. So I'll be putting it sort of in the center, but a little bit down, because I do want that straw to stay within the limits of the paper. So now I actually have a flat surface, so it's a good thing I put on a double layer. And in this case I'll be gluing this one on with these double-sided foam adhesive bits. So perhaps now you are getting my drift when I was talking about cooking something. I mean, if you are looking at some cookery shows on TV, I mean, they have prepared several steps in order to quicken the process for the viewers, and I'm actually trying to do the same for you here. So in this case I'm just going to try to center it best I can, like so. And you know what, I've actually forgotten one thing. So I'm going to take out the black brush yet again, and in this case I think I'll try using the grey. I think it's going to be enough, because you can see it's going to get rather dark anyway. And I just wanted to stay within the color, so I didn't want to mix in any more colors in this case. So in this case I'm going to be gluing that one down, but of course I have it prepared. So this one I do want to put in the right place, and I think I'll just start up in one end and put it there like so. And then I have the final piece, sending warm thoughts your way, and the reference from warm is to having a warm drink to soothe your mind with, perhaps after having a stressful day. And in this case I'm making sure that I'll be able to cover the sides of the mug. I don't want to put this too far up, because then I'll be seeing the sides of the green. Let me show you what I mean. If I were to put it too high up, it would look like this. You don't want that then, do you? So you really need to go down here so you can cover it up. So there it is. And I could see myself using this perhaps as a page in an art journal, sending warm thoughts your way, or just making this one into a card and send it to somebody. So that's my contribution to as for being a guest designer for Crealies. I thank you for the opportunity, and I must say that I do like playing with those stamps and dies, and especially making templates like this. Bye bye.